name is Teri Lee from Sweet Pea Papers and Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, and this is our Christmas in July 2022 project, and this is video 10. Yes, we're at video 10, yay! This is a collaboration by Lisa Fisher and I of Lisa's Paper, Lace, and Bling. All her links are going to be below to her Facebook group, her YouTube channel, and her Etsy store, and be sure to visit all three. There's also a list of all of the other collaborators in the group, and please be sure to visit their YouTube channels and subscribe as well. Plus, there's links to the two designers that were kind enough to donate 2 different Christmas kits to the collaboration participants for them to use if they wanted to. So, now, that's all that. Oh, it isn't all that. If you want to participate in the Christmas in July 2022 project, but you don't do YouTube videos, you can still participate by going to the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group or the Lisa's Paper, Lace, and Bling Facebook group and posting your pictures and your flip-throughs and all that there. Just be sure in your when you post your pictures to use the hashtag Christmas in July 2022 project when you post it. That way when people do searches in the 2 Facebook groups, then your projects will come up. Now I'm really done. Okay, in this video we're going to make the cover. And we're going to sew in one of the 2 signatures. So once I show you one, you'll be able to do 2. I do mine a little different. I have to use crocodile. I can't push the needle through the paper anymore. So that means we're going to be using embroidery floss, and my eyelets haven't gotten here in time, so when I show you how to do it, I'm just going to tie it in a bow so that I can undo it, put the eyelets in the holes, and then come back and re-sew it. Okay? And also on the cover, I'm going to put one of these, and I know you're thinking, one? Why are you going to put one? Well, these are from Dollar Tree, and they look like they're wood, but they're actually pressed cardboard. So what you do is you take one, and you put it in some water for about 30 seconds, and then you can peel the layers apart, and you end up with 3 or 4. So I've got 3 here of differing colors of this kind of a cardboard grungy color. And I could have inked these, I guess. I didn't even think about that. And those are going to go on the cover down in here. All right, so this is our cover image. So that's your tip on these Dollar Tree items. They're a really good buy, especially for that. These are going to go inside our pockets inside. This is our inside cover. This is our inside spine. This is our back cover. This is our book cover, and I'll tell you in just a minute how I did that. And this is the paper for the book cover. And this is our embroidery floss. This is my Mr. Pen ruler. And the reason I like this Mr. Pen ruler is I know it's exactly 1 inch wide. So when I go to cut the paper around the cover, I know that I have it exactly 1 inch wide all the way around. And that makes it nicer when you fold it in. Okay, so let me set this stuff to the side. These are our signatures. Now I've gone with a 1 3/4 inch spine, which might be a little bit of a gator mouth, but I tried a 2, and the 2 just seemed way too big. It seemed like these 2 parts were just going to float around in there, and I really didn't want that. I'd rather have a little bit of a gator mouth than have the where we sew the signatures in be really far apart in the center, even though we're going to have the paper in there to cover that part. All right, so we're going to set the signatures to the side for right now. And then we're going to set all of our papers aside as well. So we don't need our crocodile yet either, or Mr. Pen, or the embroidery floss. Right now, all we need is the cover and these papers. The first thing we're going to do is you're going to cut 2 6x9 pieces of cardboard. Now, I happen to use a shirt box cover, which was a Christmas cover, And I cut 4 pieces, 6 by 9, and then I glued 2 pieces together to give me the thickness. And you want to glue the shiny sides together so you get the plain side on the outside. Now this paper you're not going to see anything through, and I'm afraid it might be too thick to bend. So we'll find out, won't we? I have some other tan paper, but I don't really like the color of it. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Worst comes to worst, we'll use a cream color, and we will, I'll put you on pause and just scruff the heck out of it. Okay? Or grungy the heck out of it. So then I've got the 1 3/4 inch spine. Now, as you can see, if you turn your piece of paper sideways, it's the exact, it's actually not the exact right height because it's 8.5 and our cover's 9. Plus, you can't put all 3 pieces on one piece of paper, so that's not going to work. Excuse me, just 1 second. Oz. 3. When I first originally trained him, I trained him a 1, 2, 3 timeout. Wow, this really is thick. And usually if I say 3, then he'll stop, but apparently not today. So what we're going to do is turn them vertical, and we're going to glue them together. Move my paper trimmer out of the way. So we're going to glue these together, and you're just going to barely overlap them. Let's do that. I guess I could have done 2 of the 3. This may be a little bit longer video. I am not, I confess, the best at making covers. For some reason, they make me nervous. I have no idea why. It's a simple process. I've done it I don't know how many times. But it always just kind of freaks me out. Now, we could have used a cloth. But I didn't have any that fit. Plus, I've actually never done a cloth cover before. You do it the same as you do this. You just don't have to glue pieces together. You can just use one piece of material and then trim it down. Okay, so there's 2. Now let's do our 3rd one. This just really feels thick, you know, for folding. Now you're going to have 2 seams, but they're not going to be where you can see them, hopefully. I only want to overlap it a little bit, Terry. You just told the nice people to overlap it a little bit, and then you're overlapping it a whole bunch. You want to make sure that it's straight. What in the world? Probably didn't even need to overlap it that much. I didn't overlap the first one that much. Okay, so now we're going to take our cover and we're going to lay it out on the paper. And we're going to leave a gap in between and try to put it on straight. You know what? Let me get my T-square. That works out well. This is a T-square, and it's called that because it's T and squares up your papers. It's also a ruler. It's a 12-inch ruler. People use this in drafting. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to glue our center piece in. And we want to put it in the center of the page. Yeah, this is a 1.5. I tried 1 3/4 and I ran out of cardboard. So, and I don't go glue crazy like most people do. by the time you get everything glued together, there's enough glue to hold everything together. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to put this somewhere in the center and try to get it the same distance from the top to the bottom. We're not even going to have an inch, so we're going to be fine. We probably won't even have to trim it. Well, we'll come out with an inch. Where's Mr. Pen? Oh, there he is. Yeah, no, we won't. Okay. Then we're going to glue one of these. I don't know why I flipped it over to put glue on it. Because it doesn't matter. So I'm going to do the same thing here, just like I do when I put on my papers. Only I do put a little extra on the edges. But I don't do the centers. I've never had a book cover come apart. Of course, if you're going to get a lot of, use out of it, I hoard mine. They kind of sit on the shelf. Then you might want to put more, but it's paper. Where's it going to go, right? And this Fabri-Tac is pretty strong glue. Okay, now you're going to want to line this up with this. And you want to give it some space to bend. Now this is straight across the edge of the paper, this right here. So that means these two are straight. Well, it looks like you are going to see the seams. They're going to be right in the middle of the front and right in the middle of the back. We're going to have paper on it. This one's a little wonky. And you combine the two, it comes out square and it comes out the right size, so when you do it this way and then you smash it flat, it spreads the ink out. Alright, so let's put this straight with that. Let's see how we did. Okay. You know, actually, we could have gotten away with two, and the seam would have been in the middle. Let's see about this one. Fabri-Tac also gives you a little bit of time for it to dry. That little bit won't matter. Okay. So let's do just 2 and see how we do. We do 2. We're going to have to re-glue them, but I just want to make sure. Yeah, sure we can. Let's glue the smooth side. I knew there was a way I had done it. It was a bigger book that I did that needed 3. It was a flat book. And it needed 3. And it didn't matter about the 2 seams because they were on the 2 small side flaps. So that was my mistake. Let's re-glue this, give it a chance to dry for a sec. We yanked that sucker off before it even had a chance to dry, didn't we? That's why when you put a lot of Fabri-Tac down, once it dries, but you do have that little bit of, uh-oh, I made a mistake time. And I put that extra glue on the corners so I can move the paper around. In this case, cardboard, to make sure that it's straight. Now, if I put this along here, it doesn't quite look like there's the same amount of space at the top and the bottom. If we give it that little bit of extra space, in between, then we'll have a little bit of extra space built in to the width of the spine to help us out. So we're not going to have to trim anything off the top and the bottom. And we really, it really isn't very much to trim off. Let's go with it and see how it goes. May have to start this video all over if this paper doesn't bend. I'm going to take and cut the corners. That one's a little rounded, but I got a little close. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to run some glue along here. Didn't need to do that. Then we're going to run glue up around here. Now here, with this heavier paper, I am going to put some extra glue in. And then all you're going to do is you're going to flip it up. And then flip it over. Yeah, this doesn't bend very well. This is just really heavy paper. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. Let's take our bone folder, make a little bit of a crease here where we want it to fold. Some people cut this area out. They cut a little slice in the paper, like a V, like we did over here, so that the paper can fold in better, but I've never done it that way. looks okay. I'm going to have to put extra glue. Just like I said about you don't need extra glue, but this is just to hold it when it folds over, because you need that extra glue on this paper to get it to stick. Plus, this is kind of a coarser paper, and it kind of soaks it up a little bit. So we'll do this end. And we'll just flip it over. And then we'll fight with it until it sticks down. It's the only thing about fabric tack. It does take a second to tack. Looks like there's a little bit of a lip there. Then we're going to hit paper over the center. And we'll put that in next. Okay, I'm going to put you on hold for just 1 second so we can switch over. Okay, so while you were on break, I went ahead and did the ends. You do them the exact same way as you do the sides. So I figured I would save us some time and effort. With such thick paper. I do have a corner that didn't quite come out right. So I think after the videos are over, because I've never done it and I'm not sure that I have the right ones, I'll probably put book corners on it. Even though that was not the look I was going for, but if you can see, this corner right here didn't quite meet. And you can see the cardboard right there. Another way to fix that would be to put something around the border. Okay, so let's do the inside. So we're going to put this piece across here. And glue it down. Now I inked it all the way around. Sometimes they put them on top. I know most people put them underneath, but books are made, regular books, not that ours aren't regular, where you can see this. Let me see which way I like it better. Kind of like being able to see it. Feather up, feather up, feather down. It needs to go this way. Let's go ahead and put it in. I don't make hardcover books very often. You know me, I usually do file folder books and or folios. I am kind of expecting a call, so I may have to put you guys on hold if it starts ringing. I'm expecting a call from my brother. We just found out that 2 years ago my mother passed away, so yeah. So we're all trying to figure that out. None of us had talked to her for a long time. But it's still sad. So anyway, if the phone rings, or the, messenger rings, then I will take that call. Sorry about the TMI. Okay. I'm going to put it in the center. Put it the same from the top and the bottom. That piece of glue from the lid is following me everywhere. I don't think we're going to have time to sew the signatures in. Or the signature. Okay, now we're going to make this equal from the corners and line it up with this one. Oh, I had a piece of, there it is. Looked like that was coming up a little bit. It's really hard to glue this paper. Because I glued the corners very, very well. It's so thick. Okay. So we decided feather up, feather up. Get this over here. Line it up with that and put that in. Glue this down. Everything is pre-inked, so you would have inked around it. Neighbor coming home with his dog. Sounds like a train going up and down the stairs. The dog is so big. My glue is not cooperating. Some of this may be a little bit off camera, but I'm just gluing. There's that piece of glue. I have Fabri-Tac all over my fingers right now. Okay. Feather up. There's a feather right here. I'm going to crease this paper. I maybe should have glued the whole thing on that, now that I think about it. And I made a little tear. My luck is not holding with this. Yep. I should have glued the center. I still have what I call Fabri-Tac time. Normally I don't do this, but I forgot this could pop up in the center. So we want to glue the whole thing down. Well, you have to see my mistakes so you know yours, how to fix them. Fantastic beasts and where to find them. And you'll see the book corners in the flip through. And the eyelets, which didn't come in time to do this, but I can wait a day or so. They may not get them at all by the time they do the flip through. In fact, they probably won't. Now it's fine. The other thing you have to worry about with this is you have to worry about the paper cracking. Now, I didn't think about it, but I think I might want a piece of paper here first. Before we do anything else. Or I mean, as we're doing the outsides. Because, you know, because of the seam. But actually, to tell you the truth, I really wanted it to be minimally papered on the outside. I think I'm going to take my ink and grungy up the edges. We'll put the front and back covers on, because they're already inked. So we can put those on. Once I put the signatures in, I may close it for a little bit and put a book on it to help fold that paper, because it really did not want to cooperate, did it? Okay, feather up. I think an 8 3/4 cover would have been fine on this, but I'm gonna take the ink to it and grungy it up, I'm pretty sure, because that just looks too neat and clean. Now, and the back cover, I didn't really want anything fancy on the back. It's too big, too bad that we can't cover that corner with a pocket. I wanted to put a pocket on the inside. I don't think we're going to have time. So I'm pretty sure we're not going to get the okay, feather up. And then I'll, like I said, I'm going to ink the edges of the spine. Okay. Now to put the eyelets in, let's see if I can get some of this glue off my fingers. I think I'm going to put just a little. A little light touch of glue where that, there's the tear right there. It's Good thing these books don't go anywhere, huh? Normally I'm like super perfect. That is super annoying. Super annoying. All right. So we know this is the center. It's actually not the center of the spine. Let's see, inch and an inch. And we have to think about the center of the indentation. We want to go down. And I want to mark the center. Don't worry, it's pencil. Then I want to mark it, let's see, this is 1.5 inches. That's why it's not coming out right. So that's going to be 3/4 in. I forgot. There's our center. And three-quarters in. Now, we're not putting eyelets there. We're just marking our center. So we're going to go halfway between the edge and this. It should be 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, not 5. 2, 3/8. And we do need it centered. That's why we needed the center line. Just a very light pencil line. And then I kind of approximate the center. I know some people that do it a little bit above the center, just so they know which way is the top. I think that might be kind of fun. This is how you draw it when you do a hidden spine as well. There's my dot. And then we'll make a dot here. And out there. Then we don't need this dot anymore, so let's not confuse ourselves. Okay, we're going to take the crocodile and we're going to punch holes. So that seems crooked to me. This pattern is throwing me off. Okay. Put it on 3/16. No, the smaller one. Sorry about that. 1/8. And then let's see if I can do it in this light. Get my glue over here before it dries up. Oh, that's right, the paper's folded over there. So it's thicker, that's why it was harder. You know, I can never do a cover on camera. I just can't. Something just fell off my desk from the vibration. My heat tool. Okay. Oops, we're going to need that for the papers. So we're going to take our signature. And we're going to mark it. Line it up with the top and the bottom of the paper. And then we're going to mark it. I'm going to mark it on white, I think. And this is just chalk. And we're going to open it up. Make sure our papers don't move. Yes, I leave all the stuff in. I might take these big cards out though if they get in the way. They shouldn't. Okay, so we're just going to make holes where the chalk marks are. And then we're going to have to switch over to one more video. And it is a bit forgiving because the holes are so big. Okay, let me put you on hold for just 1 second. Okay, so I've got this lined up. And I want 1, 2, 3, and I want to tie a bow. So I'm going to leave extra. You would not need to do that. Oh, of course. Have a knot. Well, at least I know where not to pull it, huh? There we go. 3. And I'm going to go a half so I have enough room with my hands to tie a bow. So I can do it temporary. Oh, for goodness sakes. Now this should go fairly quickly. The holes are large, they're lined up. The thing I like about doing a with the crocodile is that it doesn't leave that pushed in mark too, if you know what I mean. Okay, we're going to go out through the middle. In through the top. Out through the middle again, and don't, you know, split the thread. Make sure you go right next to it. Believe it or not, with this big a hole, I've actually done that. Make sure you pull it tight. Except this isn't lined up, so. And then we're going to come back up the bottom. And we're going to go to the center. Well, not the center, but the center. And then we'll tie a knot, or tie a bow. And double check that your top is your top and your bottom is your bottom. You know what I mean? That your signature's in right side up. And that's all there is to it. Now you would tie a knot maybe. Oh, this is always so embarrassing. But I'm going to tie a bow, and I'm going to leave the extra just because. Okay? So the signature's sewn in. The cover's on. I'm going to ink around here. And I think we're going to put these on here like so. I think I like that. Like so. Okay? So when we come back and do the flip through, then both signatures will be sewn in, and these will be glued on here, and this will all be inked front and back, inside and out. Okay? Alright, so that's it for this video. I know it ran a little bit long. I apologize. I almost always have difficulties with covers. And so anyway, I will see you in the next video, which is going to be the flip through, where I'll have the corner pieces on. I have that fixed. I'll have the eyelets in here and have this fixed. I don't know though, I kind of like it without. It's a little grungier without being fancy with the eyelets. So I may not put eyelets on there. You never know. You'll know when you watch the flip through. Alright, I'll see you then. And it'll be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye.